Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. So in my last stream I went over every single character in the game with what they're going to be getting with their limit break, with the next update. This is basically an addition that they're going to get to their rush or their signature move. Every character is going to get an addition to their passives, and basically it's a replica passive upgrade that they have already at tier 2. And it, like for instance, the support role character will get Cunning. They'll get exactly the same passive, again called Cunning 2. I go over it a bit in the video and show how it works, but I go over every single character's initial upgrade as well. Like I said, every character gets one upgrade on their rush or their signature move, and it can be something as basic as just a small percentage attack increase, but it can make a reasonable difference. And it's just if you wanted to know my opinion on it, or if you just wanted to know what was actually going to be coming to the game in limit breaks, this is what's going to happen. Don't forget that when you limit break a character as well, they will be getting 40 extra potential levels that you can give them, and that's extra stats, basically like giving someone 40 lieutenant levels. It's quite a lot of stats, so that is always something that's going to be added as a base. Now this is quite a long video, it is breaking down every character's extra addition, but I thought some of you guys might be interested. If you do want to see very specific characters, you can just browse along in the description of the video to a specific character to see what upgrades they're having. Enjoy the video, guys. I'm going to go through all the characters if you want me to, and look at their limit break. I'm going to go through strong ones first. There aren't too many characters in strong, there's only 11. Okay, so we'll check out Wayland. Okay, so I'm not going to check this out on every character, okay? We'll check it out on the first of each. But if a character is a support character, they get their upgrade that they get at tier 2, which for Wayland is Cunning. They get at tier 5 as well. And it costs like 680,000 military supplies and 3 million materials to get upgraded. It's quite a lot, but... And they stack together. Like Cunning 1, they get Cunning 2. Every single character gets their tier 2 upgrade, which is their class 1. So he's a support character. So he has Cunning. Damage dealers get Agility, you know, so on and so forth. They get exactly the same one at tier 5. I'm not going to go over that on every character. But let's check out what Wayland... They also get a rush upgrade or a signature move upgrade. So for Wayland, he gets a rush upgrade. And he gets a boost to 50% per attack, which is okay. I think that's not too bad. So for Wayland's, I'd say that's okay. I don't think that's too crazy. And then obviously he doesn't get a boost to his active. I think his active is one of the stronger parts of his kit, but he just gets a rush upgrade, which is fine. Next up we have Sophia. She is a controller, so she obviously gets the controller precision 2. So we're not going to check that out on future controllers. She doesn't get a rush upgrade. She just has the same rush as before, but she does get a signature move upgrade, and I think this one is pretty bad. She gets a cooldown on tier 5 when I think she probably should have had initial cooldown. So they went to turn 2, initial cooldown, then cooldown of 2. Especially at the moment where fights are not lasting very long, she needs that to go off as early as possible. So I think that would have improved Sophia's power. She obviously would have got more AP, giving her a better chance to have stat-based weapon on defense teams at 55 AP. I don't know if any of these things can be changed, but you never know. I think Sophia needed initial cooldown to be changed, not the actual cooldown. But yeah. Next up is Negan. He is a damage dealer, so we're going to just check it out here. He gets Agility 2 down the bottom. Again, every damage dealer is going to have the same as him, Agility 2. When it comes to his actual kits, he gets a rush boost where he gets plus 10% max HP as main damage. So you can see that that last bit where it says 2 other enemies take 35% of this character's HP as main damage. Originally it would be 25%, and now it's been boosted to 35%. I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's too bad, but I think it would have been better if it was actual percentage attack. If he had percentage attack boost, it would have been much better, just because he's going to have huge amounts of damage in the majority of people's teams. So I think that would have been better. Mercer's one, he is a tank, so it's the first tank we're looking at, and again, he gets strength 2, which is another 20% critical resistance, so he can get up to 40% crit hit resistance. I don't actually think this is that amazing. It is nice, but it isn't that amazing, in my opinion, when it comes to like tanks having critical hit resistance. It would have been better if it had like actual damage reduction or like HP boosts, you know, something that actually influenced them being an actual tank rather than just, I mean, this is more of a control factor. This is kind of like a very specific better version of the cunning where it manipulates crits. He's obviously going to take less damage like that, but it's more frustrating just based on the fact that he's not going to crit, so weapon things aren't going to actually happen and stuff like that. He gets a 10% boost to his healing on his rush, which isn't too bad. I think this is actually quite nice. I don't really think he could have really got much else, like realistically. I mean, he could have had a boost to his damage, which you definitely wouldn't have wanted. Could have had a boost to his focus where it lasted for more turns, which wouldn't have been that great. So yeah, I think this is pretty good. I think the heal to himself. You could have potentially had this work for like a line of enemies, or like you know, 2 enemies or something. But when it comes to the taunt, but I don't think Mercer's is terrible. A little bit more healing is always nice. Okay, moving on to Dexter. He's agility, so he's going to get agility 2. His rush isn't going to change, and his signature move, he's going to get 1 extra turn of the attack up, which I don't think is needed. I don't think is needed. So I don't think that changes anything at all. So I think it goes like basic attack, signature move, rush, basic attack, signature move, rush. That is the order that he'd always do things in. So all that would change is it would buff his next signature move if it did last that long. Which isn't going to change too much. But, I mean, it could have been worse. I don't know what else they could have done, really. Maybe boosted the attack boost itself. Now, that would have been nicer if the attack got boosted by 15%. So it was a 50% attack boost for 2 turns instead of just lasting for longer. Because then it would have enhanced his actual rush a bit more. Darius is next. And he is a tank, so he's going to get that second part of the strength. But he is also going to get a boost to his signature move. And 1 more turn of crit up. I think this isn't that great either. This is pretty bad. It would have been nice if something was added on rather than just buffed. Like if he had a heal come in here. I know that he does heal from hitting crits and stuff, but yeah, this isn't that great, honestly. Or if he got a bigger crit boost so that he crit more often. I think this is a pretty bad one. This is probably the worst one we've seen so far. Within the strong characters for sure. Just in terms of like, yeah, what else could he have had on his rush? I mean, he could have had a heal come in on his rush. He could have had bigger minus attack on the characters that he actually taunts. He could have done more damage with his hit. You know, doesn't have any extra attacks on his hit. So like, he could have done 250% per hit. So yeah, I think this is a pretty bad one. Next one is Beta. This character isn't amazing, so I'm kind of got my fingers crossed that he's going to get a nice little boost here. Not going to get any... Oh, he is actually getting a boost here. Okay, I'd say that's pretty bad. It's just the control that lasts longer. I think he needed either an attack boost on his rush or an attack boost on his signature move, honestly. Or maybe initial cooldown on his signature move. Maybe if that was like turn 1, that would be kind of good. Or a cooldown here. So like 2-2 rather than 2-3. I don't think this lasting for 4 turns is really that big a deal. I think this maybe is going to be good for like Conquest. The 70% heal reduction. But it is like... It's only 1 character. So maybe if it was like another character. If it was 2 characters have that control would have been reasonable. So yeah, I don't think that's great. Aaron, he is a medic. We'll just check it out because he's the first medic we've seen. He gets Spirit 1 at 2 and then Spirit 2 at 5 with the limit break. And they stack, so that means there's going to be 20% of all healing done as bonus HP, which is going to be quite nice. And the boost he gets is on his rush, and it goes to heal all teammates by 25% of the damage dealt. I'm not sure what it did before. Did it do heal 4 teammates? I think before it did heal 4 teammates, and now it does heal all teammates. I think that means it includes himself, even if he is highest HP. That is obviously nice, healing everybody, so there's no like one character not getting healed, it's not terrible. Turns him a bit more into a battle medic that way as well. I don't think that's terrible. That's pretty decent. Okay, now we're going to start getting onto the promos, and we'll see what the promo buffs were, or at least X promos, because like I think it's Scope Mine, these aren't even promos anymore. These are effectively free to play, so they might not even get that big a buff. We'll see with Jessie Anderson what her buff is. Connor just gets a 50% attack boost, so nothing too crazy. Just pretty much in line with what he already has already. 50%, 50%, 50%. It's kind of weird that there's no military supplies required here. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But yeah, he's just got 50% attack boosts. I think it would have been more powerful, obviously, if he got like a little bit more of an increase to the bonus HP he received. Or his rush was made faster than 66, aren't they? Brucey time. Bruce gets a boost to his signature move. And this isn't actually too bad. Deal 150% damage to one enemy or adjacent. Up to 2 enemies get minus 20% defense for 2 turns. This isn't too bad. It's much better than the one enemy. So I don't think this is too terrible. Okay, Michonne's buff I think is awesome. She gets a buff to her signature move. And she gets a 30% increase to her damage. So it goes up to 200% damage. And she gets 5% extra of this character's attack and bleed, so it goes up to 20% of this character's attack stat goes to bleed damage. Now, I think that is really amazing, but it isn't going to change much for me personally having Michonne. I would have really liked it to have been changed to turn 1 and remained at the same power, because the bleed, like I've said, like a lot of the time I'm taking someone out with her on turn 2 with just a basic attack or a signature move just to execute them, and the bleed does nothing. Like a lot of time the bleed isn't that great. And it isn't like... I mean, it does give the character crosshairs, I just read that, so it does still decap them, but a lot of time that 20% can be countered by fast healing. So the bleed isn't that amazing. If it had like heal reduction on the character as well, like 50% heal reduction, then maybe, but yeah, I think it's kind of a mixed bag here. I think in certain game modes, like if they did bring back Faction Assault, this would be crazy. That bleed's going to be nice. But I think that's one of the better ones in here for sure. We'll move on to Alert. And we'll check out Thomas Richards. I haven't seen his one. He gets a signature move upgrades. And it just goes to -1 cooldown. Actually, that's not too bad. 10% of this character's attacking main damage to one enemy. This character gets 10 AP for every enemy with a main status. That's actually not too bad. It goes down to 1 turn cooldown. So then basically it should go like... it's not going to change too much actually. It'll be basic attack, signature move, rush, signature move, basic attack, rush. Like it's not going to change too much in the first 6 turns. It just means he can do it every other turn. If he is controlled, like impaired or something. But it's not amazing. Next up, Sandy. This is a pretty good one. She has had a signature move upgrade, and she gets 30% attack boost to her signature move. So it goes from 100% to 130%, and this is one of the most powerful parts of her kit in my opinion. Like her signature move is nuts. So this getting a boost, and the fact that she is going to be getting agility 2 as well. Yeah, I think that's really good. She's getting a really nice buff overall, which is nice because I really like Sandy, and I put a lot of invested a lot of stuff into her kit. So it's really good for me personally. You can see that Rick gets more support, so his gets 3 teammates get 25% attack up for 2 turns because he gets 1 more attack up target, which isn't too bad. He just plays into a support role a little bit more. Magna gets a boost to her signature move, and she damages a line of enemies rather than just one enemy, which means that she's just going to do more damage, which isn't terrible, but I don't think she affects the characters that she attacks. Remove all positive statuses from the primary enemy target. Okay, so she isn't doing it from the line of enemies. If she did the remove all positive status statuses from those enemies, like it did it from the line, that would be obviously good, but she's just doing damage to the second one, so it isn't that great, honestly. Governor, I think it's a signature move upgrade where he gets 5% HP in damage. So instead of being 20% of this character's max HP in damage, it's now 25% HP. So he just increases his damage on his signature move, which is good. It is just basic damage though, it's not maim. This should have been maim, I think. But it is what it is. Gabriel, I haven't actually checked this one. He gets a signature move upgrade. One teammate recovers from impair. So see, that was an actual addition. So you can have additions. They definitely can do that. Heal one teammate for 40% of the max HP. One teammate recovers from impair. The wording makes out that it can do it to 2 separate characters, but I don't think it can. I think that's just a 1. I think that's just a 1. Erica. This is going to be quite interesting because she is kind of not really fully released for a lot of people. So she could be getting a boost. She gets a -1 cooldown. I mean, that's not terrible, I guess. It's not terrible. She gets a -1 cooldown for the revive, so it goes from 4 to 3 on the cooldown. But yeah, she we can't limit break this character very quickly because we can only get 2 from the war depot. So there's that. But yeah, I don't think that's a fantastic upgrade. But it is what it is. I kind of hoped that with Erica we'd get a new passive because she actually only has three passives. She is getting a 4th, but a lot of characters now have 5 and now she's got 4, so it's kind of weird. Okay, now Elodie. She's getting a rush boost. 3 enemies get -30% defense for 3 turns rather than it being 2, so she's getting a defense down target come in, which I don't think is that amazing. What would I have preferred if I had Elodie? Maybe an addition somewhere. Maybe on her rush. Like a self buff, like a self heal or something by 10% or 20%. Especially as she's mainly like a tanky character on a defense team. So she lacks sustain and that would have been a really nice boost. Okay, on to Dwight. This could be interesting. I think I have actually seen it. This one, like I said, I don't think this changes too much. The cooldown going from 2 to 1, because I'm pretty sure it would still be going like signature move, basic attack, rush, signature move, basic attack, rush. I'm pretty sure it'd just still do the same sequence. If it was 2, it would be signature move, basic attack, rush, signature move, basic attack, rush. Because on turn 3, where you normally do this signature move again, because it's turn 1 cooldown, you're actually going to be doing your rush. So the only way this is going to be good is if he gets controlled. Or if you, I guess if you want to get more burn off. I don't know if his rush actually does any burn. Okay, so you could potentially just not do his rush and do another burn on someone else, which could be good for something like Conquest. It could be good. This could be good for Conquest, where he gets his burn off twice, but otherwise doesn't really change much, unfortunately. Let's see, Dale's doesn't get a rush upgrade. 25 AP drain. I actually don't think this is too bad. This kind of semi-countered Glenn and now actually does more than what Glenn can do, so it's not terrible. I think it would have been better if it was just like 2 enemies rather than 25 AP, just to have more control potential. It has got quite quick turn, and again, 1 turn and 2 turn cooldown doesn't make any difference. Garrett's, let's have a little look. 100% damage boost. That's actually pretty heavy. His rush gets a big boost. Goes from 350% to 450%. His attack stat is the lowest part of his kit, but that is actually a pretty hefty boost. Considering, well, I guess Wayland got a 100% boost too, but like Connor got a 50% boost to a line of enemies. Now Connor is a damage dealer, so it's going to probably be more effective on Connor. But that isn't terrible. That definitely could have been worse. It is the thing about this character that sucks though, is his spirit doesn't even work. Like his spirit 1 down up here doesn't even work, so spirit 2 is not going to work either. His passive is absolutely useless on him because all of his bonus HP doesn't gain bonus HP from it. The only thing that he's going to get this from is his specialist skill. He's going to get his passive boost. That's it. And I guess that could be nice. But at the same time, yeah, it's just not. It's not great. to be honest. Okay, what's Laurie's buff? She gets 10 AP drain on her rush, so she goes to more support. 2 attacks of 400%. I think a lot of people would have preferred just to see that go up by 50%. But it goes up to, or like an extra target. I think extra target is much more powerful than extra AP, you know? Controlling more people versus controlling one for more powerful. You know what I mean? The difference between 30 and 40 AP isn't that big a deal versus the difference between 2 targets and 1 target for 30. So I don't think this is amazing, but it is what it is. Lastly, we've got Carol, and she gets a 15% attack up boost on her rush, so it goes from 30 to 45%. For a support character, this isn't too bad. I would like to see this go to 20%, just to make it a 50% attack boost rather than 45%. I guess it was just trying to keep in line with the original one at tier 2. But yeah, that's not like amazing. Okay, Yumiko. Let's check out Yumiko. 25% extra damage. I guess that's per attack. It doesn't say per attack, but I guess it is, because the first one says 25% per attack, but the second one just says 25% damage. But I assume it's going to be 25% attack per 25% damage per attack, which is okay. More damage is good. More damage is good. That's fine. You would have probably wanted to see bigger numbers, but because she's a controller, you're less likely to. 50% damage, just flat to one enemy. Again, you probably would have wanted to see it go up to like 2 enemies get stunned rather than 1. That would have been better, obviously. So 2 enemies getting stunned for 2 turns. This would have made her quite a lot like the OG Shiva. Single target rush, 2 enemies get stunned for 2 turns. That would have been nice. What else could have changed on her? Yeah, pretty much. Or just an addition here, something like this, like maybe a self buff, like she got focus for 2 turns as well, or something like that. I don't know. Okay, next one, Princess. This character recovers from disarm, deal 4 random attacks. So this character recovers from disarm on her rush. It happens before her rush goes off, so that means she will not be like, she will always do her double attack in this case, which isn't actually bad. It does mean that you're going to get the best out of her attack potential. You can't disarm Rampage. You can disarm double attack. If she is disarmed, she will make it happen. And I think there is a character that was recently released that was a defense team character that actually had disarm on their kit. I mean, I think Princess already did enough damage, so it's not like she needed much damage. 150 damage to a line of enemies. This character gets 25% crit, or 25 crit for 2 turns. Maybe like an attack buff there wouldn't have been terrible. I don't think this is terrible. It's just, I think a lot of people would have preferred damage. She's gonna get agility, so she's gonna get a damage boost from agility. I think most people would have just wanted extra attack. If it'd be like 25% extra attack per hit or something like that. So it's definitely not the worst I've seen, but it's not like the best for sure. 1 healing target. I think this is actually pretty good. Heal 4 teammates by 20% of their max HP. This isn't too bad. I don't think Hershel's a great character, but as a healer, this isn't too bad. It would have been nice if it just straight up boosted it to all teammates rather than just 4 teammates, but you know, whatever. Next up we have Harlan. 10% extra. Oh no, just gets straight up a 10% self heal. This is actually going to be kind of frustrating for Conquest. I remember coming up against Harlan a couple of times, and he is kind of annoying when it comes to his cleanse and stuff on his signature move. I don't think it's going to change much for like raids, but I think in Conquest he's going to be a bit more frustrating because he can just cleanse the small amounts of Oh no, you're not going to be able to get... I mean, you are. I wonder at what point limit broken characters are going to come in. Do you think they're going to come in at loop 3, or do you think they're going to come in at loop 2? If they come in at loop 2, that'd be tough for people who are still going to use 6 stars and S classes, but obviously loop 3 we can't anymore, so Yeah, I don't think this is amazing. What I would have liked to see on this character is like a revive be added to his rush. Like at the end, one teammate gets revived with 20% of their max HP. Like that would have been legit. Like he would have turned into an actual good character. Same with Gabriel. If he got a revive added, I think Gabriel's one wasn't too bad though. I think he cleansed Impair or something. It wasn't terrible. If Harlan or Gabriel get a revive added to their rush, they will actually become decent characters that will be usable. Right now, they're kind of just, because they don't have any kill potential and they're just healers, they're just they're not as great. And revive isn't as powerful as it was once was, so I don't think it would be too overpowered to add a revive here. So I think that's like the next limit break for Harlan and Gabriel would be pretty cool there. He gets a signature move upgrade on Frost. -1 cooldown. 5% defense up. I think initial cooldown would have been better. It's kind of like Sophia, same situation. But I mean, it's not terrible. Once it starts getting rolling, teams with Frost in can be quite long to take out, but either a cooldown change or some self-sustain. Like if he would have got a 10% heal to self or something, or like a 10% heal for 2 turns, that would have been sick. Okay, let's see what Andrea gets on the rush. 1 turn of attack up. So that means her... Wait. Yeah, that means her... it's hard to know. I don't think it's still going to affect her next rush. Unless she gets a follow-up. This is weird. It is kind of okay, but... yeah. It does mean on the turn afterwards... What's her signature move turn? Oh, it's cooldown of 3, so it isn't actually going to do anything. So, she's going to have to hit a follow-up on the next basic attacks for this to work on her next rush. Which is going to be hard to do. Or get the 100% boost. Like, if she got a 100% boost of AP from taking someone out, I would have preferred to see a boost to her back line damage. She already has a boost to... yeah, she's had 2 boosts to back row damage. I think that should have just been another boost to her back row damage. She's just taking up someone in back row a bit more. Like the old back row nuke. Again, I don't think this is terrible, but I don't think it's spectacular. I think it's worse than Princess's, though. Alice. Signature move upgrades. 1 day's recovery target. 3 teammates recover. Okay, so I guess that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Just got more chance. Kind of counters Yumiko a little bit more. That's not terrible, I guess. Okay, what does he get? 50% extra damage to 1 enemy. See, I think they could have done like gone really heavy with Abraham, because I think a lot of people write Abraham off. I think it would have been cool, because if you see the wording of his rush, it says 3 other enemies get 12% of this character's attack. What if he did 2 targets? What if it was like deal 350% damage to 2 enemies? Then or a line of enemies. That would have been a big boost without a doubt, but like I think Abraham kind of needs it. He's kind of like average, not considered very good otherwise. He's definitely not in like Sandy, Andrea and Princess tier. And I know a lot of people would look to his burn as being the boost, but then he needs a boost to his burn then. So for instance, he could have like had like a 3 to 8% boost in his burn damage. I don't know. What does this signature move do? Or add burn to his... Like, I think the thing he really needed was this to be turn 2. Initial cooldown. And that would have been reasonable. Because he's really slow as well. He only can get basic attack AP from the first 2 turns. And he's going to have 60 AP after 2 turns. Whereas most people have 65. And if they get a basic attack, they would have their rush. Or if there's a little bit of AP gain. But because he can only do 2 basic attacks the first 2 turns, because he can't do his signature move, that again, it just makes him not that great. So I think in a future upgrade, he definitely needs a turn 2 initial cooldown to really be viable. Mirabelle, not seen hers. 5% attack down and 5% defense down. Okay, I mean it's okay, I guess. Just a bit of a boost to her control. It is to every teammate, every enemy, right? Or 4 enemies. Yeah, it's okay. It's not crazy, but it's okay. Yeah, I think that's kind of fair though. Her signature is already quite powerful. She already does quite a decent amount of damage for a support character. So, I mean, the only thing she could have potentially had was like something tacked on. I'm not sure what though, like a defense buff or something like that, or like a heal or something like that. That's anything I can really think of. Okay, Raso. 1 to bleed duration. I think I saw this one. Deal 20% of this character's defense and bleed damage to 1 enemy for 3 turns. I mean, it is nice, but it would have been better to increase the bleed or make it 2 enemies. I think like 2 for 2 is pretty decent. Like, is pretty balanced, 2 for 2. But now if they boosted the amount of enemies, 2 for 3 is really powerful. 1 for 3 is quite powerful, but I mean, the thing about 1 for 3 is it's one of those 20% could take out that character, and the other 2 turns don't mean anything. So it could mean not much. And his defense is generally quite high, so he's generally on a defense team, and he's generally going to do it against low HP attack characters. So yeah. Right, look at his second part of his rush. Up to 2 enemies get stunned for 2 turns. Like it's strong, but it's just kind of like it's kind of basic, right? 2 for 2 seems quite basic. Deal basic attack damage for 200% damage to 1 enemy. I'm not sure about it. I'm not sure about his signature move though. Okay, Aiko is a character that's around right now, so she could get a decent buff. We'll see. Just a 50% attack boost. It's actually pretty heavy hitting though. 200% damage hit, and she does the defense down first, and she could potentially like rampage that. But I think I said in my original video, a rampage weapon on her doesn't seem like the greatest idea, just because you would sacrifice 1535 on her as a leader, and you'd want 1535 on her. But yeah, that's not too bad. Reasonably heavy hit. Okay, on to the fast characters. Last ones. Tyreese. People are saying that he gets a signature move upgrade, which is pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. That is, yeah, definitely one of the worst ones. Probably would have wanted to see at least another 25 to 50% attack boost on his rush. You can, if you're using Tyreese, you already know he's falling off a little bit. He is going to get a stat boost, but yeah, definitely would have wanted a boost to his rush somehow. Especially as none of his skills affect his rush. So it's not like he's getting boost to his rush from his agility 2 or like flow state, sorting the room. None of these do anything. So he needs a rush boost to actually have a rush boost, you know, simple as that. Shiva gets a signature move buff, and then she's turn 1. Does it go to cooldown turn? Okay, it already was. Okay, just a 30% attack boost. I guess that's okay. It's not too terrible. Just a bit more damage. Don't think that's amazing, but it's not terrible. Jesus gets a boost to his rush, 25% attack, power attack. So he gets up to 450% total. Alright. Again, not amazing, but it is what it is. Gregory. Okay, that's what Gregory gets. He gets a signature move upgrade. That's actually pretty good, because I think that Gregory is a signature move character, but the upgrade he's got isn't that great. 20% isn't that great. If it would have been 2 enemies getting paired for 2 turns, then it would have suddenly been like Gregory's become a bit better. Now I think he's already a pretty decent character, but again, 2 for 2 would have been a really big boost for him. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, we've got a bunch, 9 more characters. 30% attack boost for Glenn, pretty interesting. I'm not sure why it's 30% and the other ones are 40. Just gets a bit more damage. I guess that's not terrible if you're using him on an attack team. I guess it's not terrible. He does it to 2 enemies as well, so I mean he's getting more damage. Don't think it's spectacular, but it's not terrible. Gator gets a signature move upgrades. Oh yeah, now attacks an enemy. I actually didn't think he needed to do that, to be honest. Like, now he has a chance of being controlled. Now he has a chance of being controlled. It would have been cool if he got -1 starting cooldown and -1 cooldown again. So it went for 1-1. Now the cooldown going to 1 makes no difference, but the initial cooldown going to 1 would have made a big difference. Because then he would have just had a Guardian Shield for that second turn blitz. So I think if he would have just had -1 starting cooldown, -1 cooldown again, that would have been good. The attack has the potential to be bad. Now this is the first one where I've gone, yeah, the attack has the potential to make it worse. But he obviously has to attack someone with control, but their attack has the potential to make it worse. The damage doesn't mean much. Damage doesn't mean much. Carl just gets 10% attack up. I don't think this is great. Elusive and attack up. He's such a weird character anyway. I don't know what they could have done, to be honest. Such a weird character. Maybe boost his signature move. His signature move looks kind of naked. Maybe like this character and one teammate get elusive for 3 turns. Now that would have been reasonable. It's Alpha. Okay, what does she get as a boost to? A signature move. Interesting. Turn 1. Just a bit more damage. Actually, that's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. It's quite a nice. It's quite a nice upgrade. It just does a bit more damage. Turn 1 signature move. Can't be too mad at that. She is mainly her signature move as well, so I can't really think of what else they could have done. I don't know. I think that's pretty good. Ezekiel, I think, had a pretty bad upgrade. Just a 50% defense boost to his rush, which is okay. It would have been better if it was extra target, obviously. 4 teammates instead of 3. It doesn't seem amazing. It's a bit, I mean, it is extra defense, but the difference between 300 defense and 350 is like so small. It isn't going to make that big a difference. It's still going to do barely any damage. Still going to do barely any damage. Next up is Ivanova, and I did see Pizza Cake complaining about Ivanova. Is it in the signature move? 20 crit. It's an addition. Oh no, it's not an addition. It's just a boost. Yeah, it's not great. Especially if there are people who have with crit expert on it. Let me think. 1, 2, 3. 1. See, her getting a cooldown would have been nice. Going from 3 to 2. That would have been reasonable. Do it a turn earlier. But yeah, the crit buff isn't really that big a deal, honestly. That's one of the worst ones I've seen. Dr. Stevens. Just plus 5% healing. Heal one teammate by 50% of max HP. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible again. It's just gonna be doing some extra heals. -1 cooldown. That's actually pretty decent. Goes to 1 turn cooldown. Again, I think it would have been better if it went to initial cooldown at turn 1. Make a critical attack against an enemy. Disarm that enemy for 2 turns. Yeah, if that went for initial cooldown turn 1, that would have been really good. Or a rush boost up to 2 enemies. No, his rush seems pretty decent. I think it would have just been like, if that went to an initial cooldown of turn 1, that's when it would have been good. For sure. Okay. Jessie Anderson. This is where she gets like a revive added. The most powerful addition. It's just an extra 10% healing. And it's still pretty good though. And then she obviously gets a spirit boost as well. So she just gets an extra 10% heals on her rush to 3 teammates. So it goes from 35% to 45%, which is pretty good. But she also gets Spirit 2, which boosts that. So it goes from 10% bonus HP to 20% bonus HP. So yeah, it's pretty good. So that was that, guys. Hopefully it was a useful video for you. There are quite a few characters getting some nice upgrades. There are some average ones as well. I am quite happy with the way, you know, Sandy and Michonne are going. Personally, I think them getting some nice damage upgrades, and pretty much every damage dealer is getting a big benefit with agility 2 as well. I think they're going to have the biggest bonus when it comes to that those passives compared to any other character. Unless like a really super medic gets Spirit 2, I think agility 2 is generally the biggest boost that most are going to get. But do tell me your favourite limit break, if there is one. If there was a particular character that you wish got a slightly better one. I think for me, I think Tyreese just needs some love, because he has not got anything from his passives or any boost from limit break that is going to affect his rush at all. Everything is just nothing for Tyreese, unfortunately. So he needs a little bit of help on the next limit break. Hopefully some sort of boost to his rush. But other than that, I think it's been pretty solid. One or two characters I was disappointed in, as you know, but overall I think it wasn't too bad. That is the end of this video, guys. I do hope it was useful for you. Thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.